Hi, guys. Welcome back to Wellness Wednesday podcast here with Uma, and happy Thanksgiving. Tomorrow is the big turkey day here in the US. So, shout out to everybody who's celebrating Thanksgiving. And I just want to start by saying I am so incredibly grateful for all of you that tune in every week to listen to my show. Guys, those of you that are watching live, or even if you're watching the recording here on YouTube, please hit that like button and feel free to subscribe. It's free. And that way you can meet some of my incredible guests that come through on the Wellness Wednesday podcast. Now, tonight, we're talking about something that so many of us feel at this time of year: the pressure, the pace, and the overwhelm of the holiday season. And this episode is an invitation to slow down, to breathe, and to choose purpose over presence, to create moments that actually matter, and to reconnect with ourselves and those we love in a meaningful way. Because, we want to be completely present during this holiday season. So, my guest tonight is the incredible Lori McDowell, a chemical engineer turned retreat strategist, speaker, and author of the Reinvention Mindset. She is known as the retreat engineer, helping heart led business owners design transformational experiences that bring people back to clarity, purpose, and joyful reinvention. Through her Your Extraordinary Life framework, Lori blends science, soul, and strategy in a way that is so beautiful and so needed. Lori, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm happy to have you.
Hi, Uma. I'm so happy to be here.
I met Lori also at the Fearless Women Summit in DC. She was one of the speakers that blew me away. As you guys have been noticing, I've been having a lot of the ladies from the Fearless Summit DC come through. And we're going to talk a little bit at the end about us working together for the Shape Her Summit coming up in December. But for now, I want to ask you, Laurie, how does it feel doing all these podcast interviews? Because I know I've been watching you on social media and you're with it.
Yeah, I love it, Uma. I realize one of my values is to be visible. So I love being out there, sharing my message, podcast, speaking, writing. So for me, it's a labor of love. The more, the better.
I love that. I think like anybody who does the work that we do, we really are servants of humanity because so much of the time we're doing most of it for free from the goodness of our hearts. So I truly appreciate your time. I know you're a super busy woman, and I can't wait to get into tonight's topic. So, speaking of which, your topic, purpose over presence. That hits the heart immediately. What, can I ask, inspired this message, and what does it mean to choose purpose during the holidays?
What inspired the message is so many times I've spent the holiday as like, okay, how do I get through this? What do I have to do? It seems like a big long to-do list, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, whatever the holiday is. You have to buy the food, you have to cook the meal, you have to invite the guests, you have to clean the house, buy the presents. And I think the holidays end and it's kind of like, you feel like I missed it all. So by choosing the purpose, you stop focusing on the to-dos and what's got to happen and making everything perfect. And you focus more on the intention. How can I be great? Thanksgiving, instead of focusing on the food, focusing on how can I be grateful?
Mm.
Why do I get to spend this amazing time with my family? Let's enjoy it. Let's make a purpose to connect, to share our love, to appreciate each other.
Now, that's interesting that you say that because we do have to do the things, right? Like if we're hosting Thanksgiving tomorrow and we have everybody coming to our house, we have to cook and we have to clean and we have to buy the groceries. But I do know that we can still do those things with a feeling of mindfulness and purpose, right? So, what do you think pulls people out of being in that presence and that joy? As I pick up the turkey, I'm joyful. As I'm driving to the house amidst all the traffic, I'm just grateful to have my family come here. What pulls us out of that?
Yeah, part of it is just a mindset shift from the very beginning. You say we have to do those things.
Mm.
And really, we don't have to do those things. We get to do those things. We want to do those things. These things should be a gift that we get to do those things. And when you think of it that way, it's like, oh, I get to cook an amazing meal for my family. I get to go shopping and pick out the foods that I want to prepare that are going to like create traditions we can share with our children over and, and they'll be over and over for decades and for different generations. And when you change the way you think of it, it stops being as a to-do list and it makes it easier to actually enjoy it because you're getting to do it and you're grateful that you can do it because there are so many people that can't. I mean, there are people that are alone at the holidays, people who don't have the ability to buy food. And when you think of it that way, it's definitely becomes more fun and less of a chore.
That is so true because as I was sitting here thinking about the whole idea of cooking and, arranging and decorations and all of that, I go into stress. But then when I start thinking about, wow, I actually have people to celebrate the holidays with, or I have money to buy presents or even buy the food. And there's people who literally don't have that right now, given the state of our economy and everything. That does really shift the mindset and put you into that experience of, wow, I'm very grateful. Ooh, I know
Mm-hmm.
like tomorrow is actually my partner and I, we are doing something new. We're not spending Thanksgiving with any family, even though all the families have been asking us to spend it with them. We decided to just kind of not go anywhere. And he told me, I don't want you to cook. We're going to order out. Even if it's Chinese, we're going to just order out and, we're going to pop a bottle of champagne and we're going to sit and watch our shows and just relax. And I was like, this is the best, that's the best Thanksgiving in my book. And I guess I would call that a micro experience that you talk about in other work that I've seen you talk about. You talk about creating micro experiences that strengthen connections. Can
Mm-hmm.
you explain to other people that probably are not going to have that kind of micro experience? What does a micro experience look like? And why do these tiny moments often mean more to people than the big ones?
Right. Yeah. I guess a micro experience is it's like a small snippet of something that brings you joy. I mean, it could be as simple as, you know what, it's Thanksgiving and I know to be with family, but maybe that day I want to take an extra long walk with my dog. It's a little experience where we have fun and we connect. Or you want to visit a friend. We don't have any family nearby, and in the past we used to fly to family and deal with all the
Yeah,
crowds. And now we've made the decision, like, we'll see you when it's not the holidays and we'll call
right.
on the holidays. And we spend it with our friends and our adopted family. And it's fun because there's no pressure. So the micro experience are just those little things that give you some joy and give you some feeling of presence and that I really am, I'm glad I get to do this.
And I feel like that's kind of fighting back because so much of the world is focused on consumerism, right? You have to
Mm-hmm.
fly to see family. You have to buy things. You have to do this. And I feel like your micro experiences are kind of like saying, no, we don't have to do anything we don't want to do. And we can make this holiday our very own, what feels good to us, right?
Right.
So, can you
Mm-hmm.
give me an example of some micro experiences that you have had or you have during the holidays?
Sure. I mean, one thing that we do, it's kind of small, but like I said, we don't have any family nearby. So it's my son and my husband and I, and now my son has a girlfriend now. So we have, our holiday tradition at Christmas. We go every Christmas to a seafood restaurant and eat seafood, different types of seafood. It's kind of a tradition, our family, to have 7 different types of seafood. And we've
Wow.
been doing that. And it's just the 3 of us. It's never a big deal. Sometimes we make reservations, sometimes we just show up, but it's kind of a nice quiet thing we do to get the holiday started. So that's kind of like our micro experience where we celebrate the holiday. We're grateful to be with each other, but we're not making a big deal out of it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I was trying to sell my man on the idea of like, let's order Chinese food for Thanksgiving because of that movie, The Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Right? Because apparently I was telling a friend of mine this and she said, that's a thing now. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, yeah, apparently Chinese restaurants are the most busiest on Christmas and
Yeah.
Thanksgiving because of that
Because they're
movie.
open.
Yeah, and they're open too. And I was like, that makes sense. I think we should support, the restaurants. Um, I have a question about, the holidays is not always a time that is joyful for everyone. There are people who have suffered loss, whose loved ones may have departed them, especially during a holiday season. My mother-in-law lost her brother on Christmas Eve. So that was a couple years ago, and Christmas Eve tends to be a little trying for everybody in the family. What advice would you give to people that are going through a grief? And it doesn't have to be losing a loved one, it could be the loss of a relationship, the loss of a job, right? Do you have any advice for these people?
Yeah, I would really tell them, you're going to have grief and there are going to be unpleasant memories. And what you want to try to do is find just, like the micro experience, find that joy inside of you, something inside of you that brings you joy, and connect with it on that holiday. So yes, if you lost a loved one, it's going to be difficult being around family, but find out, before you go to the family event, something that brings you joy, whether it, like I said, it could be a walk outside, it could be listening to, a stand-up comedian, it could be reading a chapter of a book you really enjoy, or painting a picture. But we all have joy inside of us. We all can, we can choose to have a good experience. And when you kind of anchor the holiday in that joy to get started, then anytime you're starting to feel real sad, you can kind of go back to that and, find it there. So, oh, you know what? Yeah, this is a really tough day. And, every Thanksgiving morning, I've now started reading a chapter of my favorite book or reading my favorite poem out loud. And that makes me feel better. So when I start to get depressed or sad, think back to that moment and you kind of anchor back to it. Because when you find that, no matter how awful the world is, there's still amazing things in it. There's still joy in it. And that's really what keeps you going when bad things happen, that you can find that happiness and that joy inside of yourself.
That's amazing. And I feel like people don't put too much emphasis on joy. I feel like in the world, everybody's looking for love, or they're looking for financial success or recognition in a career. But when you try to say people, just living a joyful life is actually the best success you can have. People are like, what could come of that? But do you feel
Right.
like joy is like high up there, if not the highest emotion we should be striving for?
Well, I do, because just think of it. If you're in a room and everybody's really sad and one people looks happy and one person's smiling, like that's the one you're going to be drawn to. So if
Yeah.
you're trying to find money's going to go to the happy person. Relationships, love, they're going to go to that person that's already happy. So if you're sitting there feeling sorry for yourself and miserable, you're not going to attract the things you want. But when
Mm.
you're happy and you're happy with yourself, you're going to attract all those other things. I mean, the universe rewards happy people. The universe rewards the good. So, because if you walked into a party and there were like 30 people there and 28 of them looked miserable and two people were sitting around laughing, wouldn't you want to go hang out with the laughing people?
Factual, very factual. Now, I am a law of attraction manifestation coach. So, do I detect a hint of attraction, law of attraction in what you speak?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I definitely believe we attract that, the energy we're living at, we attract things at those energies. So the more we can do to raise our energy, the more good stuff we're going to
Yeah,
attract in.
like attracts like. That is so true.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the holidays is such, I used to think all the time, oh, holiday season, everybody's happy, everybody's joyful, and I might not be having a good time. And then you feel so much like you can't compare, you can't keep up, right? And
Mm-hmm.
what would you say to people that is just an ongoing theme in their life? As a coach, I'm sure you, and especially with the retreats that you plan, you're trying to get people to be more present and to enjoy life. What would you do if you met a client who wanted to work with you and they were just like, well, it doesn't matter whatever I do. I just can't compare to other people.
Yeah, I mean, I find comparison to be one of the worst things we can do, where, comparison is going to steal your joy, because you can
Yeah.
always compare yourself to someone. You can always find someone that has something you don't. It's just fact. And we never compare ourselves to all those people that have less than us. We always compare the other way. It's like, we never sit there and say, wow, I'm really lucky because I have more than all these other people. No one ever thinks that way. So I really think you just need to stop comparing some, because you are not them, you're you. and you just want to be the best you. You want to be the happiest you. You want to be the most fulfilled you and the perfect you, because that's all you can do. You can't be the perfect someone else. You can't compare yourself, because you can always find someone that you can, look compared down on, but you can also always find someone that you can compare up on. So that's why I don't think we should ever compare. We should just be satisfied with who we are and think about, okay, I'm me. I love me. What can I do to make me better?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. And I love that fact that you say that comparison is the thief of joy, because I try to tell that to people all the time. Like, if you keep looking to the left or to the right and you're not looking on your own path, everybody else is going to get ahead, but you're going to sit exactly
Right.
where you're at. So,
Yeah, I know. It's like my mom. My mom is like 82, and she's always like, she's starting to
yeah.
feel her age and her health. And she's like, well, there are other 82 people, 80-year-old people that are really healthy. And I'm like, yeah, mom, but there's a lot of people that never made it to 80. So you're not comparing
Right.
yourself to them.
Right, right. That's a good point. That's like, why do we compare to people that are doing better and we don't compare to people that are doing worse than us? And that would definitely
Mhm.
increase our gratitude factor for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Well, I want to tell you guys that December 21st, it is the winter solstice, and we have an incredible opportunity for a lot of you to meet Laurie and work with Laurie and myself and some other phenomenal ladies in the Shape Her Summit. It's an online summit. It's absolutely free. It's a gift from Laurie, myself, and the other speakers. And each speaker is going to have 50 minutes to give you like a masterclass for the day. Again, this is all free. So we're going to drop the links, for you guys to see it, to sign up so you can get your tickets. We have sold quite a bunch already. We capped it at 100 people because, we don't want to go too crazy with it. But Laurie, can you tell our listeners what your class is, what you're offering, and what they can expect to get out of the class?
sure. Yeah. With the Shaper Summit, we're all speaking on a letter, and my letter is P for purpose. And what I'm going to be talking about is, I have a 3-step process that I use. I use for my retreats and my coaching, and really I use it for my life. And the 3 steps are: power up your purpose, paint the possibilities, and then prosper at the pinnacle. So I'm going to take you through those 3 steps, and we're going to be doing some exercises for each of them on our values, on our mindset, figuring out what our purpose is and how our purpose can let us see things that we never knew was possible, and then taking action so we can really live that pinnacle experience. So
I,
that's what I'll be talking about. And I'm really excited about it, and hearing all the other talks as well.
I'm really excited about it too. I will be talking about spirituality and how you can institute a spiritual practice in your daily life to start your day on the right foot. Because as Laurie and I both agree, starting with a joyful heart, a humble heart, a grateful heart will just add and attract more experiences to your life. So, Laurie, this has been an amazing conversation with you. If my listeners want to get a hold of you, could you I know we're going to put your links in the comments below for them, but can you tell them how they can find you on your social media sites?
Sure. The easiest way to find me is actually if you go to yourextraordinarylife.net. And that's actually a link tree that has all my other links. So you can get a free gift there. You can find all my social media. You can find my email, book a call. So yourextraordinarylife.net is probably the best way, because then you get everything you need in one document.
I love that. I'm streaming it right at the bottom there. Yourextraordinarylife.net. That's incredible. And a free offer, guys. Take her up on the free offer for sure. We definitely want that. Laurie, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate this grounded, heart centered conversation. You've reminded us that the holidays don't have to be chaotic or overwhelming. They can be purposeful, gentle, intentional, and filled with small, meaningful moments. What's your plans for tomorrow before I let you go?
Right. Yes, I'm going to cook some dishes in the morning and then send it with our friends, where we have an intention. We go over and spend the holidays with them every year, and after the dinner, we sit around and we play Lotteria. So we actually play games, which is really a fun way to celebrate the holidays. So they're my adopted family down here in Houston, since all my other family's up in the Northeast. So
I love that. That is so amazing. Thank you, Laurie, so much for coming in. It's truly been a pleasure. Guys, as you move through this holiday season, I hope you choose presence over pressure, purpose over perfection, and moments that nourish your soul. Don't forget, you can always catch past and future episodes on my YouTube channel, The Lotus and the Light. And for deeper spiritual support, consider joining me in one of my two circles, the Spirit Circle or the Lotus Circle. These are monthly spaces for alignment, healing, and community. May peace, love, and light guide your path, and may this season bring you calm, connection, and meaning. Namaste, my beautiful lotus petals.